All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode of Rare Gems and Cuts. I'm your host, CLIFFB, and this is an opportunity for me to share my love and have my guests share their love and power and the glory of music. Today, without further ado, I have a gentleman, and I got to read off his intro because it's really long, so I know I'm going to miss some stuff, right? Mr. CARLOS MURGUIA. And let me just introduce him, okay? First and foremost, he's a father, a grandfather, a husband, a songwriter, a musician, obviously a musician, a singer, an arranger, a producer. He's been on the road with people that we're going to get into. He's been producing people. Let me just introduce this gentleman by myself, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, just welcome to Rare Gems and Cuts. My rare gem here, Mr. CARLOS MURGUIA. Carlos, welcome, brother. Welcome. How you doing today, man?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Cliff. What an honor to be here with you, and thank you so much for that unbelievable introduction.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got to let me get the applause one more time. Yeah, there we go.
Give me one of those.
Yeah, there we go. So look, man, I didn't do your introduction any justice, man. Just kind of run through it again because you're the musician's musician, man. You've done it all. You've been on the road. You've been, we're gonna name drop and stuff like that as we go along here. You know what I mean? So you've been on the road. You've been in the studio. You've been at Disney. You've been all over the place, man. Just kind of give the people a little bit of background about where you are, where you've come from, and what you do, man.
Of course. First of all, once again, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, man.
Very nice of you. I'm originally from Mexico City, and as you just said earlier, when we spoke earlier today, I'm a music lover as well. I come from a completely musical family from generations. I'm talking, on my mom's side, we're already to the 7th generation of nonstop musicians. Wow. Not one pause. Since the late 1700s till now, there's been musician until right now. My son and my brother's son, my nephew's son is already a musician. So that already goes to the 7th generation. So music it's been in our blood forever, which leads me back to all these things that you mentioned in the introduction. Well, it's only the reason why I have to have all of those things. I have to work on all of those through all of those channels is because that's what we are. We are musicians.
I just want to read. This is a quote that I got from your webpage, man. And this just kind of when I read this is just, I said, wow, this is really, 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 really cool. And I quote you here. This is you saying, "My job is never boring. There's always something new going on. One of the beauties of music." Man, that's powerful, brother. That is very powerful, man. And that's you. That's you, right?
Yes. Well, it's true. You never produce the record twice, or you never produce the same song twice. It's always new. It's always something new. It's a blank canvas, and you go like, okay, so here we go, and you go and into the unknown. Obviously, you always have some kind of concept or direction, which is the job of a producer, right? But you never know what you're going to come up with.
Yeah. So back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kind of cut your flow off here, man. Back to your family. So you've always been around music, right? So it's like listening to it. Your parents, it's in your genes, man. It's basically in your genes, right? So
yes.
So as far as your upbringing, right? Like musically, were you just exposed to music? Did you seek out music? Did you try to play music? Well, where did you start? Where did you start?
Well, I'm number 8 out of 9 kids. Okay. So I'm like, I got brothers and sisters that are way older than me, and all of them musically inclined. Two of them professional musicians. So what happened is my dad was he was an A&R director for RCA Records in Mexico City.
Cool.
And funny enough, though, the one with the real heavy musical background is my mom. But my
Really?
dad was musically, very much. He was a piano player, not professional, but he was a classical player, and he was an A&R for RCA Records. So back in 1963 or something like that, there was nothing but music in the house. He would come home with records of Ella
Yeah.
Fitzgerald, Count
That.
Basie, yes, Duke Ellington, Oscar Peterson, a lot of jazz stuff. And then he would bring the Beatles, and he would bring Elvis and Aretha Franklin. I mean, he was always like all
Yeah, yeah.
this palette of music colors, right? So it was unbelievable. Now, because of that, my brothers started playing a band. They put a band together, and they after a while it became a horn band, and they were playing all that James Brown stuff and
Yeah.
Chicago and
Yeah.
Tears and Tower of Power. And I was just like exposed to it, but I was just like dying to get on it. My parents had me go to a piano teacher at the age of 7. So I took classical piano from 7 to 12. And, I wasn't all that much into it, to be honest. I wanted to be playing the stuff my brothers were playing, but
Right.
there was no way. I was just a little kid. And, but later when the time came, it was, I was 15 years old when their keyboard player had to leave, and they asked me to join them. And I did. And it was funny because it was never an issue. I was only 15. I was just out of middle school, okay,
Yeah.
ninth grade. And they asked me to join their band, and gave me a cassette with all the songs. And they said, learn this with, mind you, with vocals included, with background vocals included. And learn these parts and these parts. And in 2 weeks, I had a show of 30 songs ready. And then they auditioned me, and I was in. I never even thought of it as work or anything.
What kind of? I mean, I know at 15, man, and we're talking some time ago. We're not going to divulge ages and stuff like that, right? But what kind of stuff? What kind of stuff did they give you to play in the beginning, man? I know you were doing cover songs, yeah, cover songs,
Yes, it
things
was
like
all
that.
cover
People,
stuff.
yeah, cover stuff, right? Yeah.
Well, it was like music by Sergio Mendes, or
Okay.
Chicago,
Yeah.
BS&D. It was the pop stuff that was the pop stuff that was happening at the time, which was
Right.
it was in
Right.
74.
Right.
So
Right.
wow, I was like, oh, okay, I love this stuff,
Yeah.
and they had me singing.
Also, too, because obviously, see, you're on the West Coast, so 74, you had a lot of the horn bands, right, that were real big in LA, like Tower of Power, like Chicago, like the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. So y'all were very heavily horn influenced out there, right?
But at the time, we were in Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
We were in Mexico City, and all the way down there, these bands and these artists were huge down there. As a I don't know, I think it was just a blessing. A friend of a friend brought the talent booking director of Disneyland to us in Mexico City at a nightclub, and I had just been with them for a month. I had just been with the band for a month, and he came and he saw us, and he booked us on the spot and brought us to the US. And that was it. That then I was in the West Coast, and and it was a brand new world for me because, again, out of ninth grade, I never even stepped foot in a high school ever.
Right. So I guess that was when you came to the West Coast, then you started working with Disney, right? So the cool part about that at a young age is like wow, I'm getting paid for this, right? It's like, whoa, this is great, right? I mean, seriously, man. I mean, at 15, 16, 17, you're struggling thinking about, well, I don't want to work at a gas station. I don't want to work at McDonald's. All those things you don't want to do, right? So that was probably very cool too, right?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I was making all kinds of money that I didn't know what to do with. Like
Yeah.
I opened I couldn't even open a bank account because I was a minor.
Yeah, yeah.
My brother had to go and help me out, put that money there. And I couldn't drive. I mean, I was 15.
Yeah.
I wasn't even at the 16-year age so that I could get a driver's education, nothing,
Wow, wow,
nothing.
cool. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
was just
yeah.
like getting all this money, and I went and I bought a B3, and I bought a Fender Rhodes. I bought gear. That was it.
Yeah. So okay, so then so you did you worked at Disney for a while. You were doing your thing at Disney for a number of years, right? From what I understand, a number of years.
I did it for 2 years, then went back to Mexico, then got signed by a label, and we actually did really good. But 6 years later, I decided, no, I want to get back to the States. I miss the States. So I called Disney again and put a band together, and which today is, for 27 years, they've been Luis Miguel, superstar Luis Miguel band. That's their band. So I brought that band back to Disneyland, and it was an engagement for 3 years. It lasted
Wow.
10 years.
Wow.
I mean, it was
Very
an engagement for 3 months. I'm sorry, 3 months, and it lasted almost 10 years.
Yeah. So you were just playing the piano at that time, because one of the things that I really didn't tell people that you're a master at the Hammond organ, right? The B3, right? Which in my mind is, man, that's an amazing instrument. I mean, like I have a hard time just eating a hamburger and trying to drive, right? And you're dealing with keys, you're dealing with your feet. Yo, man, I mean, that's an amazing instrument. How did you get introduced to that?
Funny you mentioned that. I was when we first came to Disneyland, and I was only 15. I was playing just the Fender Rhodes, and when we got to the gig for the first time to that stage at Disneyland, I was like, "Wow, this is great!" And there's the Fender Rhodes, and then they said, "We got a B3 for you," and I'm like, "What's a B3?"
Whoa.
It's a Hammond organ. I'm like, okay, so what's a Hammond? So they show it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing in my life. I don't want to play this. It looks like my grandmother's dresser,
Yeah.
And my brother smacked me upside the head, and he's like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? This is a B3, man. This is the instrument to play. This is the king of all. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you have to get into it. So tell them, yes, we need it. We need it on stage. So I said, okay. Well, so they put it on stage, and I didn't even know how to turn it on. It was because the B3, even to turn it on, it's a trick. There's a trick to it.
Yeah. That's why I say, man. I'm not a keyboard player, but I'm familiar with the Hammond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously, I've seen people like Booker T talk about it, and people like that, and Billy Preston, and they talk about it. And just running through all the sounds and the buttons, man. How old were you when you sat behind it? How old
15,
were you?
15 years old, and I had no idea how to even turn it on.
How long did it take you to really master it? I mean, you're probably still mastering it now.
No.
Now, right?
I will never master that beast. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I was, it's funny because my brother was really strict musically. He was an incredible talent. Rest in peace. He's not with us anymore. But he was an incredible musician, a guitar player, singer, and he was like, no, we finally turned it on, and we started playing it, and he was like, it sounds terrible. You make it sound terrible, horrible. What, you're ruining this thing. And I was like, well, I don't know. He goes, it sounds horrible. So he was like, listen. And so he brought me, he says, you remember remember Squib Cakes with Tower of Power? And I said, of course. He says, well, that's a B3. That's a Hammond B3. That's that right thing. Right?
Okay.
I was like, oh, you're kidding. He's like, no. And he goes, and you remember Oye Como Va with Carlos Santana? Yes. That's a B3 right there. And I was, you're kidding.
Okay.
No. So he started showing me. And then he showed me Jimmy Smith. And I was almost fell. He goes, you know how much you love Oscar Peterson? I said, yeah, well, here's the same version, but as an organ player, Mr. Jimmy Smith. And I was like, oh, incredible.
Word. So I'm going to just rewind just a little bit, right? So when you were growing up, obviously you're exposed to a lot of different music, right? And I tend to ask all my people, my musician friends and people like that, like, when and who or what was your first like musical moment on hearing something where you were just like, wow, whoa, have you ever had a moment like that in music?
I must say, yes, I have. And it's incredible because, once again, I was so immersed in music from day one. I mean, from the time I was born, there was beautiful music playing in my house, always at my parents' house. So to me, there was not a wow factor because it was all there, right?
Okay.
But the one time that I had that realization of like, what is this and who does this?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Precisely with Squib Cakes with Tower of Power.
Oh, okay. Here, I don't have that, but we're just gonna we just get everybody here, show that label Tower of Power, right? Yeah, yes. You know what I mean? That was your like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was your moment, man, right? That was like the Tower of Power, like boom, right?
It was. Yeah. I could not believe what I was hearing because, the whole thing is just like a big machinery, with and you can see the gears, just like everything works together. How do they do that? And then Chester Thompson played that solo in there that just floored me. Yeah, and I didn't know what it was.
So you kind of mentioned this gentleman earlier, Mr. Oscar Peterson, right? Yes. I mean, how did Oscar Peterson really influence you as a keyboard player? What did he bring to you?
Well, my dad was a piano player, and he played Oscar Peterson a lot. And he would make us sit there and listen with him, He would drink a glass of wine and sit with us. We were little kids. He would listen to that. And it was just like unbelievable, to hear this. And I'm not talking about the virtuoso part. I'm talking about the taste that the man had.
Yeah.
The gusto, the taste, it was just unreal. Yeah. And my dad kept showing us that. And I mean, he had a collection close to what you have.
Right.
And there was a bin with nothing but Peterson stuff. And Peterson, Ella Fitzgerald, and oh my God, what's the other guy? It's slipped my mind.
Don't worry about it, man. Keep going. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you I mean, definitely you got a taste in the music. Your dad was doing A&R. He was just bringing stuff home all the time. So you're just like this. You know what I mean? As opposed to like some of us. I listened to music, but it was what my parents would buy every now and then. But you come home, you could probably hear stuff that maybe not even flew any place. You know what I mean? You didn't get any big promo.
It's the funny thing because it was my dad's job. It was his job to listen to music and to show people this and that, to sign people, etc.
Yeah.
And he was bringing all this stuff that was brought to him to listen, so to find out if they were going to put that record out in Mexico or if all that. So he got to listen to all this stuff, and then would bring it home, and we just like, what?
Yeah, like a test. Y'all had like a test ground thing going on there. Just like, yo, he could see your reactions. He could feel. You had it going on there in the house,
Yeah.
man.
Bill Evans was the other one.
Oh, okay, absolutely,
Bill Evans.
Bill Evans, yeah, great composer, great. Oh yeah,
Piano player.
phenomenal. Yeah, piano
Yeah.
player. Yeah. So okay, so let's Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely, without a doubt. So then you had the Hammond in front of you. You're doing your thing with the Hammond, right? Where were you at that point with the group, and after you did your kind of 10-year stint with Disney? What was your flow then?
Well, when I came back to the U.S., that's in 1982. When I came back with a new band, I left my brother's band. I felt like I needed to go on my own and do my own thing. So I came back to Disneyland, and then again, there was a B3. By now, I had been playing it for almost 10 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
And I was very much into it, So we started playing that. And we were doing the top 40 thing, but it was a really good band, and so we always liked the groove oriented stuff. So we kept playing that stuff, and so they started booking us a lot at Disneyland for private events for people to dance, and then they started realizing that we were like their best dance band in the park, and so they kept us. They kept us, and we were, they have these events called grad nights for the graduations of high schools, and for grad night every year they bring all these big name artists to play all over the park. They have different stages, Disneyland, and they have, but at the time they had Mr. and Gloria Estefan and all these big names that came to play, and we would open for them, for Shining Star. We would open for all those bands, and many times, the people of their bands would come and see us, like, wow, who are these guys? So it was a really good time for us, really good thing, because funny enough, with the fact that they were dangling that carrot in front of us, that it was only a 3-month contract that had to be renewed every 3 months, we were always on our toes, and that turned into years of being there, and we were always, it never turned into a big contract. It was always a renewal of a 3-month contract. So it was a great thing.
That was a good thing, man. So your progression from there. So you progressed from where was your next progression from there, musically?
This is in 1990. I moved to my marriage came to an end, and I got divorced. And my children were gone. My ex-wife moved to Indianapolis, and so that she took the kids with her. And because of that, I was like totally out of balance. And since I was the leader of the band, I didn't book the band. I didn't do anything, and we started suffering as a band, and we broke up. So I moved to Orlando, Florida, which back with the first band that my brother had, who had already gone back to Disney World.
Okay.
Came back in Disney World again, and so I called him and I said, I got to get out of here. So he hired me back in his band in Orlando, and I was there for a year, and then realized, no, I need to get back to LA.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is. Yeah, and almost to the day, a year exactly, almost to the day, I said, I cannot be here anymore. I need to go back to LA. Because LA is, you got that thing that is just always pushing, When I was in Orlando, it was a wonderful experience, but, people were coming to tell me, oh my God, you're incredible and all this, which I was like, no, I'm not. I can't live with that. I need to go back to where I get my ass kicked. So I came back to LA, and because of that, I came back to LA with $100 in my pocket and a hopeful mind.
Yeah.
And a prayer. And so I started looking for studio work mainly. So I answered an ad. And do you remember there was a newspaper called The Recycler?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Recycler. That's definitely. Yeah.
They used to sell.
You go to the classifieds with that one.
Yeah.
That was big time, right?
So I went there and I found an ad for some producer that was looking for songs and I had been writing songs, so I went to see him and
Carlos, another thing about the Recycler. Recycler was such a big paper. You could find some shiesty stuff in there as well. You know what I mean? It's like it was a whole lot of folks that were.
I think the Recycler was like the internet on paper.
Yeah, man. You had to pick and choose.
Everything.
Everything was in there, man.
Everything was there.
Yeah. So you found a gig through that?
Yeah, I found an ad for a producer and I went to see him. He's an Italian producer. And I went to see him and funny, I had a babysitter set up for my daughter. She was with me at the time. She was little. She was only 4 years old. Mm-hmm. And the babysitter canceled on me and I had an appointment with this guy. So I just brought her with me. And here I am meeting this like mafia looking guy. What's your name? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had my daughter with me and she's like trying, she's like wiggling all over the place, trashing. And I was like, please sit down. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to work. And somebody brought him a piece of birthday cake that somebody had in his office and they put it there. As he turns around, he goes, give me your cassette. So I give him the cassette. He turns around to put it in his cassette player behind him. And I'm, and he puts it in the wrong side. And I go, no, that's the wrong side. So I get up to help him. When I turn around, my daughter had eaten the cake, his cake. Believe it or not, that was it. He was like, you just ate my cake. So what's your name? And he said, you know what? Just come see me Tuesday. I got a session for you. And that was that. And I started working. Cool. Thanks to my daughter eating his cake.
That's cool, man. So I'm not gonna have you drop a whole lot of names, but tell me some of the names of the people that you've done studio sessions with. I know I've got some. Hold on, let me just pull out this because I read your stuff, so I know you were hanging with her, right?
Yes, sir. I didn't do studio work with her. I was on the road with her.
You were on the road with her, okay? With Rickie Lee.
Yes, I was playing keyboards and playing keyboards and singing.
Were you doing your road stuff first before the studio, or you kind of do both at the same time over the years?
I was juggling both. Yes.
Yeah. And so, okay, so when you went on the road, who you were on the road with? Give me some people you were on the road with, man.
Well, the first time I went on the road, like, get on the plane and just leave. It was with Chuck Negron, the singer of Three Dog Night.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Joy to the world, right, baby?
That's
Joy
right.
To the world,
Jeremiah
right?
was bullfrog.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Joy to the world. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. They were hot at that time. They were hot at that time, right?
Oh, they were huge. Oh, they were the biggest band in the world back in the late '60s.
Yeah.
But I didn't go I didn't go on the road with him until like 2000 or somewhere like that. He was already on his own. So I went on the road with him, and it was a beautiful and fun experience, And I was with him almost 20 years. But while I was doing that, other things appeared, and so I got to go out with his manager was Blood, Sweat and Tears manager as well.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Love them, man. What can you say about this group, man? Timeless, right?
Absolutely timeless.
Timeless.
What goes up must come down.
That song, man.
Yeah.
Well, spinning wheel. Yeah, that was.
Spinning wheel. So we started playing with both bands, and then the manager decided to just to grab the bands and use their horn section with our rhythm section and made one band.
Okay.
And so
yeah.
we would play Chuck Negron's show, and then then he would leave, and then we would do the Blood, Sweat, and Tears set.
Okay.
And for that, with that, I was with them on and off for 3 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have like, I know we talked one time and you were telling me about being on the road. Some people think it's real glamorous being on the road and traveling here and there, and and it doesn't even really matter what level you're on. Being on the road takes a toll on you. Whether you're staying at the Hyatt Regency or whether you're staying at the Super 8, right? It takes a toll on you, especially if you have family and other things like that. What was your experience about being on the road, man?
Well, I love the road, but there's a big thing that happened with me. Remember I mentioned earlier, I got divorced and my kids went to live to Indiana.
Right.
I could never do it, and so I ended up bringing my son back like a year later. He was 10 or 11, and he came back to live with me. And after that, I was like, I'm gonna do everything possible to always be home for him and for them. So later I got remarried and I had another boy. My daughter was still living in Indiana, and I was like, I don't know if I can just do like full-time road. I got offered the gig with David Lee Roth when he first went solo, and I was second choice. And right when I was, I was kind of upset that I didn't get it. And my wife told me, she said, "You know what? I don't know if you should be sorry. You should be happy that you didn't get it, because you would be gone for a year.
Yeah.
And we need you here." I was like, "Wow, you're right." I didn't think of that. So when I started realizing that, although I was traveling a lot, I was always missing being with my family. The family thing was too big for me because I had already lost it once.
Yeah, that's a huge epiphany, man. I mean, I don't, you had that crossroads moment, and
I
obviously
did.
your wife at the time kind of pulled you up a little bit and say, "Hey, it's not as bad as you think it is." You know what I mean? And obviously years later you can look back on it and say, "Wow, that was an epiphany. That was a good move, man." Family.
And it was, at some point, here's another. This is a big turning point in my life. 4 years, just 5 years ago, my wife came down with breast cancer, and she had to had like surgery quick because he was pretty advanced already. She was stage 3, grade 9 out of 10. It was like pretty hard.
Wow.
And right at that time, I got a call from a good friend of mine that he was playing keyboards with Kenny Loggins, and he told me, "I just got a call from the management of Richard Marx, and he needs a keyboard player now." I said, "Oh, okay, well." So the guy called me, and he says, he looked at my resume, etc., and he says, you're in. I need you. We got to go on tour in 2 weeks." And I said, "What? Wait, what day is that?" And it was a full year of touring too. Not full year gone, but like 3 months.
Constant, right? Constant. Yeah.
And I said, "Wait, when is the first gig?" And he gave me the date, and that was the exact same date of my wife's surgery. And I said, can you get someone just for that gig? And then he's like, no. Yeah. No, man. So that was it. I said, "Well, sorry."
I know. Listen, man, I'm one of those. I have a different lifestyle, but I'm one of those moments where you just like, that yeah, that's that moment where your heart knows, man. You're just like, well, I just can't do it, you know.
Can't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was that, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and the bread was going to be great. Everything was beautiful, but
yeah,
this was one of those things where you couldn't go. So back to your question about the road being hard. It's a really cool thing. I mean, just like you said, I went out with Luis Miguel for a minute, and the road with him was triple high class. Okay, everything was unbelievable. Only the best hotels. Everything was great. But these guys are gone, a year at a time. I was like, there is no way. I didn't have the gig. I was only subbing for a friend of mine who had just had a baby. But I was like, no way, man. I don't know how these guys do it. So I was blessed that I had the studio thing going, and here I am. It's not an easy thing, and I'll tell you that, because you never know when you're gonna get the next sessions. It's always like that. But for 50 years I've managed.
Yeah,
I've been
and that's the life of an artist that people don't really realize. They think that it's like a train that's in motion all the time, but it's not. It's a train that stops, and you got to get off, and you got to get back on the train. It doesn't work like that. People think it works all the time like that. It doesn't.
Oh, I love that analogy. That's exactly it. The train stops, and you got to get off the train, and then you got to grab another train.
Yeah. It's not that one in Japan. It's just like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like in New York City, man. You're everywhere. You're on the train. You're in a taxi. You're walking. You're doing everything.
Right. The train might even break down sometimes. And like you said, you got to walk. You got to catch a cab. It's like, go home. It's interesting.
It's a beautiful part of life, I guess, because it makes you appreciate everything, that you have. I'm not ashamed to say this. I've lost it all, more than once. I have lost it all. But then I picked it up again, and you know what got me going always?
What's that?
God and the music. Music was what picked me up.
Yeah. So back to the music part. So as I gave you your introduction, you're kind of like a jack of all trades musically, right? I mean, on your resume and stuff, I see you've got things to do with Disney. You do voiceovers, you do stuff with Disney, you teach, you produce. So you've learned to do a little bit of everything with your craft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All of that except teaching. I have never taught.
But I thought you take on students. Don't you? You don't really teach? You don't teach students? You teach people like singing, things like that, vocals?
No, I don't. And I will tell you, the reason why I don't is because I'm not a schooled singer.
Okay.
And I'm frightened of teaching someone the wrong thing and have them hurt themselves or something like that. So I'm I'm not gonna touch that. I produce and I coach them when I produce vocals.
That's I think I gave you the wrong word there, coach. Yeah, coaching as opposed to teaching, right? I mean, I said the wrong thing.
Yes. Teaching is different.
Like okay. No, not like that, right? You coach them along, right?
Exactly. When you produce, you're coaching them along. And being the fact that I'm a singer myself, it really works out great because I can sing the parts to them, and so that's how it goes. Rather than I've had producers with me tell me like, just go a little higher. And I'm like, hey, what do you mean a little higher? No. Instead you can sing it to them and they know where you're going with this,
Yeah, it's a fine line there, teacher. Like I said, man, I remember, I've done vocal. I had vocal teachers where la 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 la, that type of thing, and then the piano teachers where they smacking your hand, telling you, no, Art, bring it, like, and you just want to hit some Ray Charles, right? But no, push it, So a little fine.
That's exactly it. So teaching is a different thing for me. I don't teach anything. I don't feel I think teaching is not just I think teaching is a vocation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Something that you should know how, and it's
Oh
something that,
yeah.
and I don't know that. I don't
Oh
have that.
yeah. So let's get to your. We've dealt with past, present. Let's deal with present and future. What are you doing right now? I know that you have some music that you have coming out now, and speak to me a little bit about that. Tell everybody about what you have going on, with you right here and now and stuff with terms of your music.
Well, in terms of my own music and career, this is the first time, believe it or not, I've been a professional since 1974. This is almost 50 years.
Wow. God
Okay.
bless you, man.
Thank you. And I have never done anything else ever in my life, ever.
That's good, man. That's good,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
And so, but because of the fact, like I was telling earlier, you need to keep the lights on if you have a family, you know.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, you're always working, and you
Mhm.
never have the chance to work on yourself. So it's like, um, I never really got. I've gotten publishing deals and done a lot of songwriting for other artists, etc., but not for me. And so finally, I had a like kind of an epiphany. My brother passed away 2 years ago, and he was a marvelous songwriter and musician.
Mhm.
And he had some things that he was going to put out, and time beat him to it. So then
Mm.
I thought, wait a minute, that's not going to happen to me. I have to do my record. I have to do
Good
my
for
own
you, man.
stuff and put it out. I'm 62. I don't
Yeah.
care letting it out. I'm 62, and I am. It's time. I mean, and I can still sing. So why not do it now? So
Yeah.
so I did it. I grabbed it, the best songs that I thought I had for what I like. I like very funk, R&B oriented stuff, and so I made a list and started going to work at it. It's taken me 3 years to finish this because, as you know, it's not a cheap thing to do.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
expensive,
Absolutely.
and I have had I am very blessed because I have some great friends and incredible musician friends that I talk to, and they help me out. So I have some great names on the record, very heavy names, uh, uh, which is sort of the reason why it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's taken time, it's taken shape, and I am very, very excited. I have Vinny Colaiuta, I have the horns of the ex horns of Blood, Sweat and Tears, uh, James Hara. I mean, I got some really good names on it that are wonderful people and that are just incredible musicians. So this is going
So
to be a good record.
so tell us what. Give me the name of the record. Come on, you got to tell me the name of it, man. It came out today, or it's coming out, or
It's coming out. It's coming out. It'll be out in the name of the record that I had so far. It was called "I'm Coming Back."
okay.
Um, uh, I'm not sure if that's gonna still be it, but I think so. I like that name because
Okay.
the time that I got stuck and I wasn't gonna, I felt like I was coming back to where my heart wanted to take me, which was always make music.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
not just for
Yeah.
other people, but for me. So that's why I
Yeah.
called it "I'm Coming Back."
Yeah, that's a profound thing, man. I like hearing that. Just the love of music, That's why I put this thing together, right? Just to be able to share my love, share other people's love, because music is powerful, right, Carlos? It is. It's a powerful thing, man. Music,
Oh,
man.
music
We we
is
we haven't even listen. We put a man on the moon and all this technology stuff, but we haven't even really figured out just the true dynamics, the true power, and the true strength of music and all of the things that it encompasses that as humans that we get out of it, man. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. I'm living proof of this, and I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah.
not just with my career, but again, I lost a family because of my own negligence, if you want to call that,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
back many years ago. I lost a wife and two beautiful children, and I was lost in the world. I was lost. I didn't know what I was
yeah,
going
man.
to do.
Wow.
I was hurting so bad, and the only thing that would keep me breathing
Yeah.
was music, and that healed me.
Wow, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's that's profound, man. That's profound. I do the same thing. You're a musician. I'm the consumer. Behind me here, I've got like 8,000 vinyl records, and all of them are representative of healing. You know, I can pull some sad music out too. It might have been a sad time in my life, but if I put it on, it's healed me. It's made me feel better.
It
I can
does,
pull it out now,
even
and
if
it
it's a
doesn't.
sad
Yeah,
song, it heals.
yeah, yeah, it does. I have maybe one record in here that's a sad song out of 8,000 records. The rest of them, man, I don't care what was going on in my life, it healed me. It made me
Yes,
feel better. You know what I mean? And that's what I like to be able to share with people. You know what I mean? And that's why I wanted you to have you on here today, man, because you're a true testament to it. You know,
yes, absolutely.
you're a true testament to the power and the joy and the love of music. From the musician standpoint of it, because I'm sure as a musician, you can get jaded. You can get into the money thing. You can get into the same thing every night, the mechanical, boop boop boop, and just lose the joy of it, man. But you're a true testament to that, man, and I commend you for that. I commend you for that, Carlos. Seriously,
Thank you, sir.
seriously, man. Yeah, man.
It, it's very much true. I got. May I tell you a little quick story?
Yeah, yeah. Come on, man. Come on.
Precisely about that. I was working. I left California and I moved back to. I went to Orlando to play with my brother, and I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to do. My life was, you know, I was completely heartbroken, and I remember calling on a payphone in between sets my ex-wife. I wanted to talk to the kids and I wanted to see them, and long story short, the phone call didn't go very well at all. And
Mhm.
that's what, that's when I found out that now she had someone else and she was not thinking of me anymore. It was a done deal.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like, oh my God, and my kids, what about them? I need
yeah.
to see them. And she's in Indiana and all these things. And I'm right at that time, my brother walks by and taps me on the shoulder. He goes, it's time. We got to go. We got to sit again. And I look and it was like 1 minute to the hour, right? So I'm like, okay, I got to go. So I hung up
Ooh.
and I'm empty. My heart is completely empty and I'm like bled out, right? So I
Wow.
go on stage and out of nowhere, my brother goes, we got a request to do Long Tall Sally by Little Richard.
Right, right.
And I used to sing that. And that song, it's in the key of G, and you got to sing a very, very high note. It's a B flat. And I was like, and I sang it. And so, you remember that song?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt, man. You can't sing that with tears in your eyes, right?
So I get up there and I just give it all I have, and because it's such a physical
Yeah.
thing to sing that high and to give that thing, right? Oh my God. It was like I took a humongous aspirin. I'm telling you. After I finished that song, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
yes.
man. That's a beautiful story, man. That God, yeah, man. Oh man, I feel you, man. I feel you.
It was
Like you took
beautiful.
an aspirin, man. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just you share that story, man. I felt your heartache. I know what the heartache is like. You know what I mean? Heartache, dude. Pull the pillow over your head. You don't want to talk to anybody. Just stay away. And you had to. Come on, brother. Come on, man. We gotta sing "Long Tall Sally." Like, wow, man. That's amazing, man.
And
That's
it
amazing.
was rock and roll to
Right, right.
the most raw you can get.
I love that, man. I love
It was
that,
great.
man.
It was
I
great. It
love
was
that,
like
man.
so healing too. Like after I finished, I'm like, yeah, man. And so we just kept going, and the show was a great show, and we had a wonderful time. But it was wow, music.
Yeah. So let me. I just want to pull a few records out for you. you don't have to do a long thing. And I know this is stuff you can just keep it short and just give me a few albums, and then I'm gonna have you just kind of show people your studio, right? Where you are. Is that cool?
Oh,
All
I'd
right.
love to.
Okay, so I just want to pull this one out because it is a white album, and you know the Beatles, the white album, right? It's white. You're like looking, where's the Beatles, man? They were big in your life.
Check that. Yes, look.
Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
man.
in that record.
Yeah. The Beatles, man. So obviously, Chicago.
Ah.
My man.
Yes, Chicago
Yeah,
was.
man. Yeah, man. I've got a few more for you, man. So, James Brown, right?
Woo! Yes.
Now, Carlos, I know a lot of people don't really know that James Brown played the B3. You know, a lot of people are not aware that he played the B3. You know,
playing the B right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's doing his songs here, but he's doing them on the B3. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know something? This is a true gift from God for me. I got to play with Mr. James Brown. We got to open for him in Mexico City for a week and a half, every night.
Wow.
And the place where we were at, it was my brother's band, and the place where we were at, it had two big dressing rooms, and he had his whole band. So he put his whole band in one of his dressing rooms, and then we had the other dressing room for us, and he shared it with us. So for a week and a half, he shared the dressing room with us.
Yeah,
and he
cool.
was a wonderful cat, man. He was so out there, but he was super nice.
That's very cool, man. You were hanging out with James for a week. Oh man, that's I know you got
for
some
a week
stories,
and a half.
Man.
Yes, we were with James Brown.
You got some stories, man. Here's another one. Now this is like in my house in 1965.
Oh yes,
Billy Preston, right?
Yeah, that's another one that he's been in my studio. You know, he came over to record a song for Mr. Ellis Hall.
Okay.
And he just, when he finished, you know, it was a song, something by George Harrison, and he actually played in the original.
Yeah.
And then he played it for us in this record that we were doing. And after he was done, we were like blown away. And we was like, "Oh my God, come here and listen to it." I don't want to listen to it. I just heard it. I just played it.
That's very cool. When he was there in your studio, did you all play together, or he just kind of?
No, the track was already done. We added the B3 with him. And one thing I got to tell you is that as a B3 player, I was blown away by the way he played the organ, because he had a completely different approach to it that I have never seen before. Yeah.
Did you grow up listening to a lot of organ players like Booker T? Did you grow up listening to stuff like this? Booker T.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna throw some at you, man. Like Johnny Hammond. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy. I'm not really familiar. Tell me if you know this guy here. Dave Baby Cortez. Yeah. We're gonna have to dig into this a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? You and I, after we get off this Zoom chat and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with him. I'm sure you know brother Jack McDuff.
Yes, I have a couple of records of him.
Yeah, and then of course
Jimmy
McGriff. You know, and then one of my favorites.
There it is.
You know what I mean? So yes. Man, you're in the realm of that. That's it, man. That's it. Hey, do me a favor, man. Before we break this off, I want everybody to see your space, man. Can you just kind of pick the computer?
Absolutely.
Don't worry about fumbling stuff up and all that, trying to be correct, man. Just kind of walk me through your room here.
Let me turn the screen around.
Okay, do that.
Here, I'll turn it out like this.
Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Here's my space where I do arranging and recording.
Right, right. Love the
Here,
space, man.
I'll move back a little bit.
Okay.
And then here is.
Oh yeah, there she is, huh?
The
baby. Does the baby have a name? Does she have a name, or is she just a baby?
No, she's just a baby.
Just a baby.
The beast,
okay,
actually.
Okay. Yeah,
As you can tell, I have a computer keyboard here, so that I can control the computer from this part of the organ,
cool.
And I can record myself.
That's very cool.
Look at that. That's like actually that, that's actually on my car.
Yeah.
Now here's a little band that I'm producing. I hope they make it one of these days.
One of these days, man. I don't know. They might need to change their name, man. I don't know. That's not catchy enough, man.
There's another organ.
Okay. That's not a B3 though. That's a different type of organ, right? I don't know about.
It's a B3 clone. Okay. And what it is just it's unbelievable. It's called a Viscount. Okay. It's a legend live by Viscount, and it's wonderful because it's only 38 pounds.
Okay.
And it sounds just like a B3.
Man. I've never seen that. That's cool, man. Thanks for sharing. Do you have that? And Carlos, tell me a little bit about. Oh, this is where you do your vocals. This is where you do your vocals in here, right?
Yes, sir. This is where we record vocals.
Oh, okay. Nice, man. Yeah, I can feel the nice energy in there, brother. I can feel that.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. You can come and just meditate here.
That is really nice. That's a nice setup you have, man. Just a quick question about the B3. The thing that whirls around and pushes the sound out. What is that called? You know the whirly thing that.
Yes, it's called a Leslie speaker. Okay. And what it is, I did you see it? It was in there.
No, I didn't see it. But then okay. You just carry on. Just tell me the concept of it, right? So it's actually the speaker to give you the sound.
Check this out. You're gonna die.
Look at that. Oh, you got a little one. That's crazy, man. Okay, so I see the top and the bottom. It comes on the bottom too. I didn't know the sound because I'm always as a consumer. I only see stuff from the top.
The bottom part. Let me see if I can get you some light here.
Yeah,
the bottom I can see it. Part. It has a drum.
Oh, okay.
And let me open it. Look at this.
Okay.
You see, there's a speaker there. 15-inch speaker that is laying down on top of that bottom. So the bottom turns, but the speaker doesn't. So it's a sound that is turning. And then on the top, same thing. It has a tiny little speaker.
Yeah.
Here it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is, the little speaker. You see it on the top?
Yeah. And that's been.
And then the horns, which are here.
Okay.
There's the horns.
Yeah, man.
Those are the ones that turn.
Yeah, educate me, man. That's what it is. It's a speaker. You know, I read an article one time. I don't know if you're familiar with these two blues musicians, Junior Wells and Buddy Guy, right? Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, right?
Buddy Guy, yes. I know Junior Wells. Yeah. You know Buddy Guy.
Yeah. So they were a team together, and they had a particular song called "The Hoodoo Man Blues." But what happened is they were in the studio recording the song, and one of the guitar speakers blew out. So what they did is Buddy Guy plugged into that speaker,
Leslie,
right? The Leslie system, and he played through that system. And I'm gonna send you that song because you can hear it because it has a really different kind of eerie guitar sound, right? Yeah. Like wow, okay, yeah.
And it's a beautiful sound, and I've done that before where I plug in a guitar through that. And the guitar sounds like it's in water, like wow.
That's it.
Sounds
beautiful. That's the sound. That is exactly the sound, man. That's exactly the sound, man. Yeah. All right, man. So you have a beautiful website. Please tell people how they can reach out for you. I want you to plug away, man. Give it to me. Everything you want people to be able to get in touch with you or contact you, man.
Oh, beautiful. My website is very, very simple. It's C for Carlos. Get it?
The number
Like
4, C for
exactly.
Carlos.
C
Okay.
for Carlos. So that is C for Carlos, which is like C is for cookie, all right?
Yeah.
But C is for Carlos. .com. And in that, I have listed my studio in case anybody's interested in working with me.
Absolutely.
I do, as things are today, I do a lot of, I produce a lot of background vocals, which I sing myself, or I can bring another singer. And we sing them here. People send me their tracks. I sing their background vocals, send them back. Or people send me their tracks. I play a B3 for them and I send it back. Okay. It's great.
So they can go to your C4 website to do that kind of thing, and
yes,
because I know it's a beautiful page you have. You know what I mean? So all that is there, right? That's
all of that is there. All the information is there. If you go to In the House Music, that's the name of my studio, In the House.
Okay.
In the House Music, and it's in the website. They can go in there, and there's a link for the studio, and so they can contact me, and I will, and we can work together, do something.
Okay. And your single is coming out or out?
My single, the second single of my record came out today. It's out in all platforms. It's called Mr. Sam.
Okay.
Mr. I'm going to show you that.
Okay, please do. Okay.
Mr. Sam is my dog.
Okay.
And
that's your dog.
That's a new single, and it really is a fun song.
Very cool, man. Listen, man, I have, you brought me joy, man. You know what I'm saying? You brought me joy, man, and sharing your joy, man. I really appreciate that, man. And your story is strong. Your story is beautiful, and thanks for being here, man. Any last words you want to share with people, man?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay, come on with it.
Music is powerful, like you said before. So I don't care how bad things are. Lean on the music, and the music will pull you through. It really does help. Music is like taking a big aspirin. It will help you through. Let's just share music with everybody. It's a good thing, It's positive. We need a little more of that in the world.
Oh yeah. Mr. Carlos Murguia, thank you so much for being here today, man. I appreciate it, and we're going to stay in touch. And thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carlos Murguia, my man. Wait, one more for you. Hold on. All right, my brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.